He drew a starting line on the ground with chalk, then started the stopwatch and took off. Don't think for a second he's entering some race. He's just timing himself to see, without breaking a sweat, how many minutes it takes to get from his college classroom to the bathroom. But the results were pretty disappointing. His mom suggested he could always run, but to him, sweat is as gross as urine, even if he could ride a bike. One with training wheels would just get him laughed at by his peers. Maybe it's time to work on his leg strength. But George wasn't exactly encouraging. Even a pair of kitty dumbbells was too much for him to handle. So he went to his dad, the football coach, trying to score some growth hormones. But if Dad had any of that stuff, his team wouldn't have lost by such a huge margin. I think you should look in a human growth hormone. Now he only had one option left: learn to ride a bike without training wheels. With Missy's help, he picked up the skill pretty fast. But before they could even celebrate, the neighbor's chicken came charging at him. Panicking, Little Ear slammed into a mailbox. Soon after, his dad took him to the hospital. The diagnosis: a minor fracture in his arm, needed a cast. Little Ear really didn't want one. But who's gonna argue with the doctor? Missy insisted on signing his cast, saying it would look cool. At first, Little Ear said no, but Missy kept pestering him. At least she wasn't trying to prank him this time. But her spelling wasn't the best, and accidentally wrote something silly, which really ticked Little Ear off. Meanwhile, the neighbors brought over some food. Since that chicken was basically responsible for Little Ear's injury, he promised Dad nothing like that would happen again, because that chicken was now dinner. Never again. With his right arm out of commission, Little Ear was basically a lefty for now. So he asked left-handed George for tips. But George's experience didn't really apply, like how shaking hands is awkward for lefties. Little Ear never shook hands with anyone anyway, so being left-handed wasn't such a big deal. Still, his mom cut up his food for him. To help with his injured arm, that's just how moms are. Whether you need it or not, she thinks you do. Not saying moms are bad, but too much coddling can really hold a kid back, even though kids usually love being coddled. Who knows, one day it might turn into a nightmare. Get her, who is back home. Mom. In his sleep, Little Ear kept mumbling, "Mom is his training wheels." His mom was confused. She mentioned it to Dad. Dad said maybe Little Ear doesn't want to be a kid anymore, but Mom's been holding him back like training wheels, actually stopping him from growing up. Mom thought taking care of him was only natural, so she went to Grandma for advice, but even Grandma disagreed with her. That night, Little Ear wanted Mom to tuck him in. Missy stopped him, saying only little kids need tucking in, even if he's hurt. Better than being like Hawking? So you're saying he and I are brilliant minds, who have both suffered great physical adversity. That's not even close to what I say. Missy's words clicked with Little Ear. He believed he could be as tough as Hawking. Without Mom, he could still fall asleep. And he actually did it. So he tried opening jam himself and showering alone. As his injury healed, he copied Missy and had everyone sign his cast. It was definitely a memorable experience and a big milestone in growing up. But he still had one important thing left to do. He had to face his fears. Couldn't let a little fracture in a chicken beat him. But he never expected no chicken. But there was still a mean dog. That time, he ran a full 11 kilometers.